Wait. What's up, Yang Gang? Can y'all hear me okay? I need to see if I can plug in a microphone. Good, good. I'm glad y'all can hear me. I appreciate it, Gavin. I'm telling y'all, we are tired. We are so tired. Oh, you know what? We actually caught one of Andrew Yang's interviews. I think it was Fox News he was having with them this morning. And we're going to try to get it up before Fox News does. Y'all make sure you start tweeting this out. They told me not to play any Andrew Yang music right now. I probably totally should, regardless of what they say. What y'all think? Should I start playing some Andrew Yang music? Play it low? Hello from Sweden. Wow. This is supposed to start in probably about 30 minutes, maybe. I'm gonna try not to, Feather. They wouldn't kick Grassroots Yang Gang out, would they? For making too much noise? They might. Dolores, hi Dolores. It's good to see you. You know I like shouting everybody out when they come into the chat. Y'all start tweeting this out. Tweet it out, put it in Facebook. However you got to do it. Man, we got Worldwide Yang Gang on. Oh, look, just had a Tulsi person roll in. Aha. We maybe should get some interviews and stuff. Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang. No problem, Duck Dodgers. Y'all like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. Donate if you can. Help us stay on the grind. Help us keep bringing you exclusive Andrew Yang content. It is very nice. We are at the University of New Hampshire. Ooh, we got lots of UK. Lots of people from the UK. Main for Yang. Yes, and make sure that if you're not following me on Twitter, I am at BBoxReality on Twitter. Jeez, we got a lot of UK. You can look. I'm gonna turn the camera around a little bit. Look, I had to go back with the old school math hat. I like that. Look, sign and everything. I had him sign my green math hat this morning. Did y'all see that picture of Steve Marchand we tweeted out? It was pretty awesome. I like Steve. Steve's good people. Zach photobombed us this morning. You know what? Flap Accuser. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. You know, you can still vote with your dollar. You can support channels like this that are on YouTube and creators that create Andrew Yang content. Little Yang Gang is not currently in here at the moment. He's getting a little bit tired, and we're trying to keep him from struggling so much. And they should be in here shortly, though. They told me to go ahead and come on in. But Little Yang Gang, yeah, he's doing good. He's just at that point, you know, he's tired. He's only 4, y'all. It's for a dog that needs help. Yeah, I mean, dogs for Yang all day long. I don't mind. Duck Dodgers, go for it. We're all about supporting sick dogs and stuff, and turtles. And hello, Germany. My people in Germany. Germany. I came from Germany and Ireland. Irish style. As y'all can probably tell. Yang gang. Y'all are crazy out there, Yang gang. So we are here at New Hampshire University, and very, very shortly, Andrew Yang will be taking the stage. And it's probably going to be a lot of the same stuff we used to hear him. But, you know, at a lot of these events, though, depending on the crowd that he's talking to, he tends to come out with a lot of new stuff. And there's lots of little nuggets. Y'all check out some of our other live streams like that we did this morning and the one we did yesterday. And I'm telling you, if y'all listen real close, he says certain things as he's talking to different crowds. You know, like he was talking to mainly business people and entrepreneurs this morning. And so his speech was a little bit different. You know, yeah, he's got a lot of the same stuff. That's why it's called a stump speech. Are you guys actually going to move to one of the early voting states? Bruh, we're already here. We are already here. And we are going to yang as many New Hampshire people as we can. We've already got plans in the works, y'all. That's why it's so important for y'all to support this page. I mean, to support this channel, because 60,000 New Hampshire voters, that's what we got to have. Well, actually, we're going to have a town hall later tonight. I think it's 6 o'clock or 6:30. So we are going to leave this event, and we are going to travel about an hour and 15 minutes to the next event, get set up there, and bring y'all another live stream. We're going to bring you the town hall tonight at 6 o'clock. So San Francisco Yang Gang in the house. Man, we got Yang Gang from all over the country. Yes, we're actually in Vermont. We are about 5 minutes from Bernie Sanders' office in Vermont. But that puts us right here at New Hampshire, so we can get anywhere in New Hampshire, y'all. And we've already been talking to the Yang Gang up here, and we've been talking to Christine, and we've got some stuff for the channel that's in the works. And we're gonna try to yang a bunch of people that want. Oh, here we go. There we go. I wonder if we can get little Yang Gang to throw up an Amazon claw. Can you throw up an Amazon claw? He's tired, y'all.
Amazon claw. Okay.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Whoops. Yes, we will be at the New York City UBI March as well, y'all. We are going to do what we can, and we are going to bring that to y'all too, hopefully live. Y'all seem to like it live, so we're going to bring it to you live. I thought I saw... Ooh. Look, y'all, I saw that. I saw that red hat. I thought it was... That was awesome. Please shout out Saving Tater in McAllen, Texas, GoFundMe. You're welcome, Duck Dodgers. Saving Tater. It's a dog that needs help. Y'all save Tater. Help save Tater. Dogs for Yang. Y'all, we're starting to fill up here. Yeah, man. See you, Jilly. Or Gilly, Squeezington. Awesome name. So, yanging people. Let's turn this back around for a second. Yanging people en masse. We got to get 60,000 New Hampshire voters. Any reason you're in Vermont instead of New Hampshire? No, not really. We have, well, okay, so if you know our story, our landlord needed our house in North Carolina, and he had a family member who had a stroke out in Seattle, and they had to have our house in North Carolina so that they could take care of him. The show's already started, Chris. We are the show. I'm just playing. He'll be on in about maybe 15 minutes, y'all. So until then, anyway, I'm gonna finish telling y'all the story. So the landlord needed a house. He's got to move his family members in. So ours was the only house that he had because it was right next to his mom's house, and she was of an age. So we were asked to move. So we figured that the biggest use of our channel that we could have would be to come towards the early voting states and try to yang as many people as we could. Because out of Andrew Yang's own mouth, we need 60,000 New Hampshire voters in order for us to have a shot. Y'all, this is important. This is for everybody. We are trying to secure the bag for everybody. That's why it's so vitally important for you to support this channel. Because the way we're going to do it, we have a bigger voice, than a lot of other people. So the best use of that voice is to come up here to New Hampshire and get the Yang Gang up here on board, and then we can go out and we can Yang people in mass. We can get, crowds of people as opposed to one or two individually. So what's up, boys? Good to see you, brother. So we are up here in New Hampshire, and we're gonna stay up here. And we're from the South, y'all. And it's gonna get cold up here, but we're gonna do it anyway, Yang Gang. Because this is so important. Because let me tell you something, man, there's thousands and thousands of homeless people in this country, and they need our help. And the only way that they're gonna get our help is if we get out there and we secure the bag for everybody. We have to do it, y'all. If it's to be, it's up to me. So we got to come together. We're all over here on Andrew Yang's side now. We all came from different camps. I came from the Trump camp. MAGA. And there are others of you that came from the Bernie side, and there's others you came from Elizabeth Warren's side. But whatever side you came from, we all got to do this shit together, because it is going to take all of us. Because teacher doesn't fall into Democrat or Republican. Homeless person doesn't fall into Democrat or Republican. We're all the broke folk vote, and the only way that we're going to get this is if we do it together. And that means getting out into the streets. And if it means my family, coming up here and possibly making a sacrifice for this channel and for Andrew Yang, and to get that message out there, then that's what we got to do. So, yes, the homeless can vote. Y'all can the homeless can register to vote. Absolutely. In one of our videos, you can go back through and we tell you exactly how to do that. So yes, we can get the homeless to vote. I was never a side until I learned Trump was president. Now I'm Yang Gang. That is so awesome. Yes, absolutely. Harrison Barnes, what's up, man? Sorry, I'm talking talking to the live stream. Look, I done got excited in here. People are starting to look at me. That's crazy. Sorry, y'all. If there's a phone call that comes in or anything, it pops up on the screen. So if it temporarily goes out, I apologize. We will. Yes. Of course. Y'all tweet this out. Get some people in here. There's a reason why I come on early. Is it so we can get this message out there, so we can get the tweets out. Y'all burn the Twitterverse up. Y'all post it on Facebook. Thank you so much. We did have a good angle. Vlog is real. Oh, we will. You know what? We was actually talking to somebody earlier and discussing maybe me at one of these events getting up and, maybe giving a little bit of an intro talk or whatever. And I thought that might be pretty cool because we do connect with the Trump voters, the MAGA voters. Maybe we can reach a few. Is that every Trump voter is 2 for 1. Yeah, duck dodgers. There's a huge homeless problem everywhere. Every major city, Portland, every major Detroit, every one that we've been to. Flat accuser. You can go to any one of our other videos, and there are donation links in those videos. Just click the little drop down box, and it should drop everything down. Venmo, PayPal, however you want to do it. And we appreciate it. Every dollar, it helps. Y'all, we was riding in New Hampshire this morning and trying to hit the defrost on the car, on the Ghost Mobile, and it's blowing out cold air, so we gotta get the heat fixed. We're gonna have to put the car in the shop because we can't be riding around New Hampshire and Vermont in the middle of winter with no heat. That's just too much. That's just crazy. Oh, you good, man? Go ahead. Go ahead. Look, you want to be on YouTube?
Oh, wait. Is this
Yeah. Look. Say hi to everybody.
Oh, it is. Hi, I'm from the student publications in New Hampshire. What is this for?
This is for Grassroots Yang Gang.
Oh.
We are here to support Andrew Yang.
Oh, I see. So you're filming this event and stuff at the... I see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. By all means, please check us out on Grassroots Yang Gang.
I'll be sure to.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Russell Peterson.
Russell, nice to meet you. I'm Ben.
It's nice to meet you, bro. Be good.
Thank you.
Making friends. Gotta make friends, y'all. We all about Yang Gang love up in here. So we try to talk to everybody. Hey, we can get them interested in Andrew Yang. This is how we do it, y'all. This is how we do it. All right. See, now I intentionally put my ugly grill up here so that we can let a little bit of the crowd filter in. So now I'm gonna give you a shot of the crowd. See what's happening. Hey, why is there only 5 people in here? Y'all gotta get this out there. Well, it's it. Now there's 3. What they'll probably do is check back in a minute. Wow, now there's only 1 person watching the live stream. Well, I appreciate you, 1 person watching the live stream. We thank you for being here. Who is it that's watching the live stream? Who are you? Name yourself. Now there's 2 people. We'll get this built back up here in a second. Thank you, 1 person. We're gonna give you a shot of the crowd. Now there's no people. There are no people watching this live stream. Huh? It's not even showing you. Why is that? That's really weird.
I need to go grab a tripod and I need some audio for... You don't mind if I push this way?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Awesome, thank you.
Maybe everybody thought the live stream was just going to be of you talking. When they tuned in, you were talking.
Oh.
I don't know. I put the stuff in there. Yes. Yes. I was going to wait till he started speaking.
Yeah.
And I was going to see how the audio was. The stream looks good.
Right, stream looks good. We are ready for Andrew Yang
When
to
he
take the
comes
stage.
out, we're going to take a picture.
Okay. Sounds good, Mama Yang Gang. All right, we're about to pick up steam. Y'all ready out there? Should I restart the stream as a, I don't know, whatever?
No. I'm going to take a picture of Andrew Yang when he gets it's out here putting the thumbnail. Okay. If you want to walk around over here quietly, you can. You don't want to sit down. You can go over there and walk around.
Go get your pocketbook. Just switch seats or something. Right, we are anxiously awaiting Andrew Yang. And everybody's gone. What? Lazy. Are you sure I shouldn't just restart the stream?
I don't know. It says it's a private video. So let me go in and see if I can edit it. I don't know why it would be private.
I don't know.
How many people were in it before?
About 50?
It says private. Why did it do that?
I don't know.
Now we can. Now everybody should come back. Maybe when I put the links in there, it made it private until I.
Oh man, fail.
So I guess just tell everybody sorry we're back.
Whoa. Okay. All right, maybe now we go. Sorry, y'all. We got to apologize. That was an error on our part. I apologize for I was like, where did everybody go? And yes, we are back. Sorry, y'all. That was a technical error on our part when we were trying to make the thumbnail better for the stream, and somehow YouTube put it into private. And it dropped everybody off, and I was like, where the hell did everybody go? I was like, I know. I was like, they must have got tired of hearing me talk. Come on, y'all, somebody get Dolores back for us. Maybe she'll come back. I just saw her pop up on the thing. Okay, yeah. Y'all make sure to hit that like button. Whew. Sorry, y'all. Once again, what happened was when we were trying to adjust the YouTube video, it somehow threw it into private and it dropped everybody off. So there we go. Whew. Y'all, I actually started to panic there for a second because I saw the chat empty and I was like, they must have got tired of hearing me talk. Jeez. He should be here any minute, y'all. He should be here any minute. I was like right in the middle of talking and there wasn't nobody left. I was like, damn. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So I wanted to give y'all a shot of the crowd. Yeah, look at this crowd now, y'all. We are just about packed to the gills. Whew. So yes, I was explaining about the donation links. If you go to any of our other videos, I don't know if it's up on this one yet, but you go to any of our other videos and just click the description box, and it should drop down. There's a little arrow that'll drop all of our information in there if you want to donate that way, or you can donate here. Either way, we appreciate it very much. This is New Hampshire. We are at the University of New Hampshire, and we are waiting for Andrew to take the stage. Yep. Oh, I see Durham. Yep. It's at the ballroom. We are in the ballroom. Can you play Williams Lee's Freedom Dividend song? Well, you know what? I would actually play some Andrew Yang music, but they asked me not to. you know. I get the energy from y'all, Yang Gang. That's where I get the energy from. Y'all keep us going for sure. The love and support that y'all show this channel, man, y'all keep us going. And it really helps us out. We appreciate it. Yang Gang love all day. Where you at, Lele? Said, notice me. I notice you. Wherever you are. We see you. Y'all tweet this out. We messed up a while ago. The video went into private. So if y'all could tweet this out, make sure you use proper hashtags, eat proper hash browns, all that stuff. Look, there's Mama Yang Gang. Huh? Can y'all hear me okay out there? I'm gonna listen to myself talk. Hold on. They say they hear us fine.
Okay.
No, your headphone is cutting out. I can hear myself fine. Mama Yang Gang doesn't think that y'all can hear me. If I need to plug in the microphone, y'all tell me. I'll plug in the microphone. We was having a little bit of issues with that earlier. Democrats corrupted. They don't care about people's problems. All they care about is the police. Yeah, pretty much. Most of the Democrats are crazy town banana pants. All right. Good. Glad y'all can hear me. Shout outs to Austin, Texas. So y'all, we had 500 people, at least 500 people last night. No, the speech is in New Hampshire University. So please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, ding the bell. You gotta ding the bell, y'all. Because that bell is gonna tell you when we hit a live stream or when we drop a new video. So y'all make sure you ding that bell. Thank you, Duck Dodgers. Ding that bell. 99 people. Oh, who is that with the Carolina Panther logo? Shout outs to my Panthers. We might have us a new quarterback in Carolina. Cam don't tighten up. For sure. 100,000 Californians right here. No offense, California. But this early voting state is exactly why we are here bringing the math, y'all. Mr. Yang will be speaking in approximately 5 or 10 minutes. It looks like we got most of the Yang Gang that's affiliated with the campaign is here. Absolutely. Unite the people, save the country. Y'all, we got to be like Braveheart. Y'all, we got to hit that Q3 goal, too. Oh, you can believe that we're talking to the boomers. And there's some boomers in here. Look, y'all. Look. I see boomers in this crowd. Plenty of boomers. Boomer Yangs. Boomer Yangs. We love the Boomer Yangs. $111 people, y'all. Get it out there. We had 500. I want to do more than that. Yes. Yes, you lost the stream because we sent the video into private mode. Sorry, y'all. My bad. Women too. Yes, we got women. We got children of all ages. We got Yang Gang of all ages. Thank you so much, Shin. We appreciate that. The news is bad at live streaming this. Y'all, we got an interview that Andrew was doing with, I believe it was Fox News earlier. And we were actually recording them while they were recording their piece or whatever. And hopefully we're going to be able to get that up for y'all before Fox News does, so that you can see the full interview and they don't cut it up and make it sound choppy and stuff. They like to do that. It was Fox News this morning. They were at the breakfast this morning. And they did an interview with Andrew after the event. And we recorded them recording. So that was pretty cool. Oh, nice, Vicky. Boomer in the house. Boomer Yangs. Yes, absolutely, Feather. You'll know if they added it. I haven't gotten it up. Y'all don't understand the time that it takes to do this. Man, if we're not here streaming these rallies, we're trying to put out videos for y'all. Man, we've got so much footage, y'all. We've got footage from South Carolina the first time that we went that we still haven't gotten out because we just don't have time. We need a video editor for real. If we could afford to, we could employ a video editor full time, and we could have so much Andrew Yang content out there, dude. It's just crazy. Do I have any inside info on what Yang will do to win the black vote? Y'all, it don't matter if it's the black vote. It doesn't matter if it's the old folks. It don't matter it don't matter what folks it is. Because most of us, all of us, are the broke folk vote. And you know what? $1,000 a month appeals to a lot of people. It don't matter what side you're on. It don't matter. We could all use $1,000 extra dollars a month. Boomer Yangs. Look at this crowd, y'all. Oh, look. Little Yang Gang's talking about Andrew Yang over there, probably. I don't know. Iowa's a long way. Harrison Barnes, you're crazy. Harrison Barnes says I have a man crush on Russell, my broke folk. Broke folks for Yang. Absolutely, y'all. Yes, it is a nice crowd. We love it too. We love it too. Vicky said it right. We need everybody, every age, every race, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Baptist, Pentecostal, it don't matter. If you're Muslim, it don't matter. Y'all, we need everybody. Everybody. We got to come together. It's not left, it's not right, it's forward, y'all. And that's the only way that we're gonna do it. No, Yang is not. I don't agree with that comment that Yang is prioritizing the white states. I don't even know what that means with the white states. What I do know is that Yang is prioritizing the early voting states. Okay? The early voting states are what we need. So, hey, Eddie in Portland, what's up, Eddie Yang? Miss you, brother. Miss you. So, I don't know. K-pop, Hit TV, we cover a lot of topics. All we know is we're waiting on Andrew Yang. Dumb Dun. Y'all, Dumb Dun in the chat is Eddie, and he is part of the Portland, Oregon Yang Gang. And he was one of the people who helped us out on our trip out there to Portland. He was a big reason that we were able to do what we did out in Portland. So thank you again, Eddie. Yang Gang everywhere. Primary states first. Got to. Early voting states. Say my girlfriend's name, Carly. She's next to me. Yes, absolutely. We'll give you a shout out. Now give us a shout out by getting on Twitter and tweeting this live stream out. And thank you to the donations that have come in. Alaskans for Yang. What's it going to be, Montana Wild Hat? What's Trump's nickname for Andrew going to be? Yes, they absolutely do think I'm talking about myself, or talking to myself. Which, you know, that wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination anyway, if you know me and as much as I like to talk. Yeah, Lord, look, don't even get me started on Elizabeth Warren. Oh, I can't stand her. This is going to start anytime, y'all, because check this out. All right. I'm going to switch the camera around so I can talk to y'all for a second. I feel better when I'm looking at myself because at least I feel like I'm talking to somebody. So, right now we are in New Hampshire at New Hampshire University, and we are waiting on Andrew Yang to take the stage. So, he's going to do this event, right? But then at 6 o'clock, he's going to be at another event in New Hampshire, which we are also going to live stream to you, but it's like an hour and something away. Look. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go, Yang Gang! The rock star has arrived. Go time, baby. Here we go. Oh, look at that. That is awesome. Let's go, Yang Gang!
Welcome everyone. My name is Michelle Holt-Shannon, and I direct New Hampshire Listens at the Scarcity School of Public Policy. And a joy to work at the School of Public Policy. We have 3 great master's degree programs, and I get to meet those wicked groovy students all the time. They're just really awesome. Yes, Andrew, I just want to welcome you on behalf of the Scarcity School. And on behalf of the Campus Living Association. We're really happy to be working with the Campus Living Association in this series. It's a great opportunity to hear from a set of very interesting people. Whether you agree with them or not, plan to vote for them, or they become president, they offer an interesting array of perspectives. So I'm going to read something from our lawyers, but it's from the heart. This event is sponsored by the Scarcity School of Public Policy and the Campus Living Association. The use of the University of New Hampshire's facilities for this event does not constitute an endorsement by the university. The University of New Hampshire does not endorse this candidate or any other candidate or organization in connection with this or any other political campaign or election. Dripping with emotion and love. All right. So now I would like to introduce Tyler Silverwood. He's the Vice President of the Campus Living Association. He's a sophomore biochem major and is very active in helping to bring candidates to campus. So Tyler, come on up.
So I'll be giving a brief introduction to Mr. Yang. Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang is an American entrepreneur and is the founder of Inventor for America. From 2000 to 2009, he worked in startups and early-stage growth companies as either a founder or executive officer. In 2012, he was selected as a champion of change by the Obama administration, and in 2015, as a presidential ambassador for global entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andrew Yang.
I went to high school here in New Hampshire. How many of you knew that? Wow. I went to Phillips Exeter Academy, graduated in 1992. And they had me back a few months ago, and I was honest, I said I haven't been back since I graduated because I did not enjoy myself here. And then the student body erupted in applause. I was like, whoa, that's not the reaction I was going for. I was felt down to the administration. So I grew up in upstate New York. I went to high school here in New Hampshire. Afterwards, I went to Brown University, not that far from here in Rhode Island. Didn't know what to do afterwards, so I went to law school. Spent 5 unhappy months as a lawyer. Then left to start a business that turns out did not work out, an ill-fated business. How many of you have started a business or organization or a club or even mailing list? Don't raise your hand. So if you have your hand up, you know that 1, it's a lot harder than you thought it was going to be. And 2, when someone asks you how it's going, what do you have to say? It's great. Turns out it's great until it doesn't work out. You're like, oh, it turns out. My company did not work out. My parents still told people I was a lawyer for a while.
Hold on, y'all, I'm trying.
Great. So my business flopped, but I've been bitten by the bug. I found trying to start a company was invigorating and genuine. And so I stuck with it. I joined a series of growth companies as an early employee, learning from more experienced entrepreneurs. And then I became the head of an education company that grew to become number one in the United States and was bought by a bigger company in 2009. Now, in 2009, 10 years ago, the country was still coming out of the financial crisis. How was that for you all in your communities here in New Hampshire? It was rough, right? I mean, it was rough in most of the country. And I thought I had some insight as to why that had happened. That the wannabe whiz kids from Exeter and Brown in Columbia had all gone to Wall Street and devised these financial instruments that had crashed the economy. And so I thought, well, that's a train wreck. That's a disaster. What can we do about that? So I quit my job and started this organization called Venture for America that trained young entrepreneurs to create businesses and jobs in Detroit, Cleveland, Birmingham, New Orleans, and other cities around the country. How many of you grew up here in New Hampshire? It seems like probably a majority. Elsewhere in New England? Mid-Atlantic, like me, sort of like the New York, Pennsylvania crew. Midwest, anyone? Yeah, you. South? West Coast? So when I started Venture for America, I donated some money to start the org, because that's what you do sometimes. And then I started calling rich friends with this question: do you love America? And the smart among them said, what does it mean if I say yes? And then I said, at least $10,000. And then 12 of them said, I love America for $10,000. It's like, I thought you did. So we had a few $100,000 to start, and then it grew. We recruited incredible young people that I'm proud to have worked with, helped create several thousand jobs around the country over the next 7 years. That's what got me recognized by the Obama administration. I got to bring my wife to meet the president. So my in-laws were very excited about me for about a week. Like, yeah, nice job. But during this time, during these 7 years, I started to have this sinking feeling, this sense of unease. Because when I traveled throughout the Midwest and the South, I was staggered by the disparities between regions. Where if you fly between St. Louis and San Francisco, or Michigan and Manhattan, you feel like you're crossing through dimensions or decades or ways of life and not just hopping a few time zones.
Y'all tweet this
and
out.
I felt like I was pouring water into a bathtub that had a giant hole ripped in the bottom.
There's some people in here.
Where for every job my entrepreneur organization was creating, we were losing tens or hundreds of jobs because of bigger changes in the economy. But I was still surprised when Donald Trump became our president in 2016. How did you all react when that happened in 2016? So there were some tears, shock, disbelief. Some of you, and you know this, many of your neighbors celebrated. Like that, this was a massive victory for many Americans. To me, it was a giant red flag that tens of millions of our fellow Americans felt like it was the right thing to do to take a gamble on the narcissist reality TV star as president. Because I don't think there were many illusions as to who Donald Trump was or is, but they felt like this was still a better path forward. And so for me, that was a giant stop sign where I said, okay, I have to like examine what the heck I've been doing. And what the real problems are that got Donald Trump elected. If you turn on cable news today, why would you think Donald Trump is our president? Russia. Cambridge Analytica. You watched the Netflix documentary? Yeah, that's a good documentary. Catchphrases and name calling, Twitter, Hillary Clinton, discontent, emails, Facebook, FBI, sort of all mixed together in a cocktail, right? Like a really gross cocktail. So there's like the cocktail of reasons that's been presented to us as to why Donald Trump is our president. But I went through the numbers and found what I believe is the most clear and direct and powerful explanation, which is that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Iowa. And if that list of states sounds familiar, those are the states that Donald Trump needed to win, and did win. And now we are doing the same thing to millions of retail jobs, call center jobs, fast food jobs, truck driving jobs, and on through the economy. How many of you have noticed stores closing where you live here in New Hampshire? And why, why are those stores closing?
Amazon.
Amazon. $20 billion in business getting sucked up by Amazon every year.
Yeah,
It's closing 30% of American stores and malls. How much did Amazon pay in taxes last year? Zero. That is your math, New Hampshire. 20 billion out, zero back. 30% of your stores and malls closed for good. And one of the most common jobs in your state is being a retail cashier. The average retail worker is a 39-year-old woman making between $9 and $11 an hour. When her store closes, what is her next move? When you all call a big company and get a customer service software to buy, you probably do the same thing I do, which is you pound 000, say human, get so live as fast as possible, right? How do you do that? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's all it is. That software is terrible. But in 2 or 3 years, the software is going to sound like this. Hey Andrew, how's it going? What can I do for you? It'll be seamless, efficient, delightful, a little bit seductive apparently. Optimized for me. It made me feel a little warm. But it's going to be so efficient that you might not even realize it's software. And that's how good it's going to be. It's not true artificial intelligence, but it's going to be software that's sophisticated enough to detect changes in your tone of voice and map to millions of different interactions. So here's a trick for the AI. Just act like you're angry, and then they'll probably be more responsive and probably give you free stuff. Anyway, what is this going to mean for the 2.5 million Americans who answer a phone for a living right now that make $14 an hour? I just spoke to 70 CEOs in New York City, and I asked them, I was like, how many of you are looking at replacing your back office clerical workers with software and artificial intelligence? Guess how many hands went up out of 70? All 70. And we knew all 70 hands were going to go up because you could actually fire those CEOs if they did not replace those workers with that software. Because they have to optimize for the bottom line, one variable. And if you say, I can replace hundreds of your call center workers with software, and there's a licensing fee, and it's a lot less than those salaries, then you have to do that deal. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about truck driving because to me it's one of the most disastrous scenarios that's unfolding before our eyes right now. How many of you all know a truck driver here in New Hampshire? It's the most common job in 29 states, 3.5 million truckers. The average truck driver is a 49-year-old man making about $50,000 a year, spending days away from his family. 94% men, so I'm not like stereotyping. It's like, oh, like exactly like all truckers are men. It's like, yeah, most of them are men. And right now, they're doing their jobs. In many cases, their health is starting to have some issues. My friends in California are working on trucks that can drive themselves. And they're working on those self-driving trucks because the cost savings to automating truck driving are estimated to be $168 billion a year. Think about that number for a second. That's a lot of money. That's enough money to employ hundreds of the smartest engineers in our country to solve the set of problems around self-driving trucks. I literally have friends working for these companies, and they tell me they're 98% of the way there. And that sounds like a lot, but a 2% error rate is very high when you're talking about trucks. You just have like semis like smashing into things, and be like, uh-oh, that's another error rate. And the self-driving trucks are really terrible with something called snow. Because if the road markings aren't clear, then the computer's not sure what to do. That's one reason why they're testing these trucks in Arizona. So how are they going to get the last 2%? They believe that with 5G, they can equip the trucks with teleoperating software. So think about this 6 years from now, we have 5G everywhere. You have a truck driving through New England, weather's bad, computer's not sure what to do. So then it beeps, and there's a teleoperator in Nevada in a warehouse who then is notified, hey, you need to drive this truck. He then beams into the truck and drives it like a video game because there are cameras on the front of the truck, so he can just look out the front. So he's just driving it from Nevada. And then when the computer beeps and says, I got it again, then he beams back out. What is the ratio going to be between teleoperators and the 3.5 million Americans who drive a truck for a living right now? 1 to 20? 1 to 30? What's that going to mean for the 3.5 million truckers or the 7 million Americans who work at truck stops, motels, diners, and retail establishments that rely on the truckers getting out and having a meal every single day? We're in the midst of the greatest economic transformation in the history of our country, what experts are calling the fourth industrial revolution. Have you ever heard a politician say the words fourth industrial revolution? Just now. And I'm barely a politician, which you probably noticed. So these are the problems that got Donald Trump elected. The Democrats are acting like Donald Trump is the cause of all of our problems. He is not. He is a symptom. He's a manifestation of the fact that our economy is evolving in fundamental ways and more Americans are getting pushed aside. And those changes are only accelerating while he's in office. So these are the explanations that I found in the numbers. And if you doubt this explanation, there's a straight line up between the adoption of industrial robots in a voting area and the movement to Trump. It's the strongest correlation anyone can find. If you graph it, just goes straight up to the right. So my first move when I unpacked all of this was not to run for president. Because I'm a fairly lucid person, fairly sane. So my first move was to go to DC, lay out the facts to some of our leaders and say, hey, it's not immigrants that are causing these problems, it's automation and an evolving economy. And we need to wake America up to the fact that we're scapegoating, people have nothing to do with it, scapegoating causes nothing to do with it, our media is not helping, and here are the true problems. What are we gonna do about it? And what do you think the folks in Washington, D.C. said to me when I asked them, what are we going to do about it? Yeah, number one is can't talk about that. Number two, we should study that. Number three, we must educate and retrain all Americans for the jobs of the future. And that sounds very responsible. But I looked at them and I said, sounds great. I looked at the studies. Do you all want to guess how effective the federally funded retraining programs were for the manufacturing workers in the Midwest who lost their jobs?
0 to 15%.
0 to 15%, that's right, he's Yang Gang. That's right. Yeah, 0 to 15%, that's a fail by any standard. And when I said to the folks in DC, hey, we're terrible at retraining, by the numbers, according to all these independent studies, you know what the response was? I guess we'll get better at it. And someone in DC said something that led me to you all here in New Hampshire today. He said, Andrew, you're in the wrong town. No one here in DC will do anything about this set of problems because this is not a town of leaders, this is a town of followers. And the only way we will do something about it is if you create a wave in other parts of the country and bring that wave crashing down on their heads. And I said, challenge accepted. I'll be back in a little while, and that's why I'm here running for president. That sounds like a movie supervillain speech, doesn't it? But it's a DC lobbyist. Turns out they're kind of the same. So I've been running for president a little while now, and as I'm here with you today, I'm fourth in some national polls. It's amazing the growth that we've had in this campaign because Americans are very smart. And Americans recognize the truth when they hear it. So the question is, what are we going to do with this set of problems? If the recipes out of DC's not going to help us, like we're going to have to do this ourselves. And when I say we, I really mean you, because you are the voters of New Hampshire. Turns out you're some of the most powerful people in Western civilization. Oh, it doesn't feel like that. You're just living your lives being like, hey, you know, like it turns out you're all the most powerful people in Western civilization. I can I'll break down the math for you. It's fun. You know how many Californians each of you is worth? 1,000. So there are about 200 people in this room today. That's like 5 football stadiums full of Californians in this room. This room is actually the ideal room to launch a revolution from. This is the hub of the revolution. It may not feel like it, but again, each of you is worth your weight in gold. I've done the math. It does not take that many of you to take a new vision to the rest of the country and have it spread like wildfire. This is not just an opportunity, this is a responsibility, honestly, because if you guys don't do this thing, then we have another 4 years of watching our way of life deteriorate. So the question is, what is the vision? When you first heard about me in the campaign, you heard something like this. There's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. Remember that? Remember the first time you heard that? Nothing like the first time, am I right, New Hampshire? And the first time you heard it, it sounded like a gimmick. It's like, haha, like that will never happen. But this is not my idea. Thomas Paine was for this at the founding of the country. He called it the citizen's dividend. Martin Luther King fought for this in the 60s. He called it the guaranteed minimum income for all Americans. And it is what he was fighting for the day he was assassinated in 1968. 1,000 economists endorsed it, and it was so mainstream that it passed the US House of Representatives twice in 1971 under Richard Nixon, the Family Assistance Plan. Came this close. And then 11 years later, it actually did pass in one state where now everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that?
Alaska.
And how does Alaska pay for it?
Oil.
And what is the oil of the 21st century?
Technology.
Technology, software, data, self-driving cars and trucks. A study just came out, if you saw The Great Hack on Netflix, you remember this. A study just came out that said our data is now worth more than oil. Do you see that? Do you all remember getting your data check in the mail? I don't. Where did the data check go? I'll tell you. It went to Facebook, Amazon, Google, Netflix, and the rest of the gang, who again are paying zero or near zero in taxes. So this is the true nature of the 21st century economy, that this data dividend that we should all be getting instead is getting spirited off into the cloud to multinational tech companies that will pay zero back into the system. So after I'm president, thanks to you all, thank you, New Hampshire. After I'm president, we pass the Freedom Dividend. How would you spend $1,000 a month in real life after it starts getting deposited into your account?
Healthcare.
Tuition, healthcare, food, was that cleaning savings? Cleaning? Housing? How much of it would stay right here in New Hampshire?
A lot.
The vast majority of it. A little bit of it would float up to the cloud. You would upgrade your Netflix subscription and like extra Amazon goodie. But most of it would stay right here in New Hampshire. It would go to car repairs you've been putting off, and daycare expenses, and Little League signups, and nonprofits, and arts organizations. This is the trickle-up economy from our people, our families, and our communities up. It's particularly powerful for rural areas that are getting depleted systematically in this economy. Creates a genuine path forward and also gives our children a chance to live the kind of life that they want in an environment of their choosing, instead of feeling like they have to go to certain places to access certain types of opportunities. The trickle-up economy would work, unlike the trickle-down economy, which we all know was garbage. Even Republicans say it was garbage. They're just really good at naming stuff. Though I think the trickle-down economy was a pretty offensive name if you reflect on it for a moment. It's like, what? Something's supposed to trickle down on me? What? So this is the trickle-up economy from ourselves up. And the $1,000 a month, it's about everything but the money. I've been giving the Freedom Dividend personally to several families around the country. And when I saw one of the recipients, Kyle Christensen, who's taking care of his mom who's recovering from cancer, he was beaming when he saw me, and he said he spent some of the money on a guitar and was playing shows for the first time in years. And that's how he spent the money. Here in New Hampshire, Jody Fassey used the money to repair her car, went from like a crisis to an inconvenience. That Mallory Shannon spent it on going back to school. But in every case, it makes us stronger, healthier, mentally healthier, less stressed out, more productive, more optimistic. How many of you would agree with this statement? Americans feel less reasonable, less rational, less optimistic, and more susceptible to bad ideas than they did 10 years ago. How many would agree with that? And the reason why you have that feeling is that if you can't pay your bills, studies have shown that you have a mindset of scarcity that functionally decreases your IQ by 13 points, or one standard deviation. So, and I want you to think about yourselves in the situations, we've all been there in different ways, where if you're stressed out about paying next month's bills and then someone comes to you talking about like a bigger issue, a big decision, it's like, I can't think about that right now, I gotta like think about it right now. So if you put the majority of Americans in that situation, which we are in right now, because 78% of us are living paycheck to paycheck, and almost half of us can't afford an unexpected $400 bill, then we start becoming more inward and subject to negativity and pessimism. The Freedom Dividend would actually reverse the mindset of scarcity that is tearing us apart and making us turn on each other. It's also making it much easier to scapegoat immigrants for, again, problems that immigrants have nothing to do with. Because if you feel like your kid's future is insecure and then someone comes on your TV and says they're to blame, and you're like, well, I guess that's the only story I'm being told, so I guess I'll go that direction. So this is the freedom dividend. This is a way we can actually start moving our society in a positive direction to be able to address the big challenges like climate change. But it's not just about the money in our hands, about what the money would mean. And then it's about solving the real problems of this time. So what do I mean by that? How many of you were excited about GDP when you woke up this morning? You're like, I hope I make a big contribution today. It sounds ridiculous, but GDP is the way we measure our societal progress at this point. And I talk about my wife who's at home with our 2 boys, one of whom is autistic. How much does her work count in GDP every day? Zero, nothing. And we know that's nonsense. We know that the work she's doing is among the most important and challenging, and it's super hard. I was home with the boys for a couple of days, and you know what I said after a couple of days? Get me back to doing something easier, like running for president. And if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. It's really challenging. And so if GDP is leading us in the wrong direction, and to give you some parameters on this, GDP is at a record high. Also at record highs right now in America: stress, financial insecurity, drug overdoses, suicides. Our life expectancy has declined for 3 years in a row. Do you know the last time American life expectancy declined 3 years in a row?
World War II.
The Spanish flu of 1918. Global pandemic killed millions 100 years ago. You have to go back a century to find a time when American life expectancy declined for 3 years in a row. And we are back in Spanish flu territory now because suicides and drug overdoses have each overtaken vehicle deaths for the first time in American history. These are the reasons why Donald Trump is our president. And we have the wrong measurements. Even the inventor of GDP said this is a terrible measurement for national well-being and we should never use it as that. And here we are 100 years later being like GDP, like following it off a cliff. It really makes no sense on the face of it. So as your president, what I will do is suggest to you all first, if GDP is kind of a dud, what would actually make you happy if I said this got better in your community? Health and life expectancies, like we're living longer, it's like, yeah, that's cause for celebration. What else?
Clean water.
Clean air and clean water. If I say your environment got better, that you'd be really excited about that. How about mental health and freedom from substance abuse? If I say we're actually getting happier and stronger where it counts. How about childhood success rates? We have measurements for all of these things, and as your president, it would be my pleasure to go down the street to the Bureau of Economic Analysis and say, hey, GDP is 100 years old, kind of dumb and out of date at this point. We're going to modernize it and include these other measurements and form the American scorecard. I don't need Congress to do this. This is just my Bureau of Economic Analysis. I can be like, hey guys, we're going to get with the program. And then I'll report to you all, the American people, every year at the State of the Union, how we're doing in a PowerPoint deck. I'm going to be the first president to use PowerPoint. So this is the vision of our economy that we have to take to the rest of America as soon as possible, one that actually addresses the realities of the 21st century. The truth is right now, as a society, we're very confused because we have been taught to equate economic value and human value and say they're the same things. And that if you have no economic value, then you're worthless. That's why you wind up with bizarre contortions, like saying we're going to retrain the truck drivers to become coders, or something like that, when that really makes no sense. And if you go with me to a truck stop, you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, like, if you try and say, hey, would you like to be retrained? Then you're more likely to punch you in the face and be like, yeah, sign me up. No. So we have to be honest about where we are and start defining an economy in a way that will work for us. We are the masters, owners, and shareholders of this country. It does not feel like it. It feels like you're subject to this giant machine that you're just plugging into, and then you need to remain efficient. And if you stop running at any moment, then we will throw you aside. That is the way America feels right now. It also feels to most of us that our government is not ours anymore, that you have these giant pipes clogged full of money, millions and millions of dollars. And most Americans have given up. They think that their vote does not matter. For the most part, they are correct. But for you all, you're like the superpowered Americans, where if you decide to vote in a particular direction, you can flush the pipes out. It's unbelievable. That's why I love being here so much. This place is like the magic of democracy in a way that the framers and founders actually intended, and in a way that's been lost in just about the entire rest of the country. So that is why I'm here with you all. How many of you have seen, let's say, just hold up a hand and show us how many presidential candidates have you seen in the cycle so far? So this would be 5, this would be 2, 3 now, that's fine. 10, that's what I'm talking about. 10. So this is a sign of the power and privilege you have. You're a little spoiled by it. You're a little bit like, don't know about that Yang fella, only met him the one time. But the reason why we're all here is because of the power you possess. And we need you to use that power to the advancement of our society as quickly as possible. When Donald Trump came up in 2016, he said, we're gonna make America great again. And what was Hillary Clinton's response? America's already great. Remember that? And that did not win. We need to acknowledge the depth and severity and nature of the problems, but also have genuine solutions. What were Donald Trump's solutions? We're gonna build a wall, we're gonna turn the clock back, we're gonna bring the old jobs back. Turns out we have to do the opposite of those things. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society as quickly as possible. And we need to evolve in the way we think about ourselves, our role in society, and our work and value. And I am the ideal candidate for that job because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you very much.
Gang, gang. Gang, gang showing out. Let's go, Andrew. Yeah, let's go, Yang gang. Yeah.
The number one criteria for Democratic primary voters for the candidate is what? Beat Donald Trump. That's like the number one criteria. I am one of only 2 candidates in the field that 10% or more of Donald Trump voters say they will support. Which means if I am your nominee, we win the whole thing in 2020.
Do the math, baby, do the math.
And if you start talking to your friends who voted for Donald Trump, or Republicans, Independents, Libertarians, including some of you in this room, I can sense it. You will see that they are much more open to supporting me, along with Democrats and progressives, that we can show the country that it's not left, it's not right, it's forward, and that is where we need you to take the country in 2020. So thank you all, New Hampshire. Looking forward to meeting you. Thank you all. That was
Let's go, Andrew.
I love to do Q&A. But I appreciate if you would call them, Michelle, because then I'll have to, you know, take favorites.
Q&A time.
Okay, we're right here. Let's start with the front row.
Thanks, bro.
So your plan, I'm 14 years old, just so you know.
You can vote for my re-election, 2020.
That's fine. So your plan is to give every U.S. citizen $1,000 a month. But this plan leaves me wondering if it'll cause rapid inflation to the prices in America. If a landlord or grocery store knows that their tenants and customers have an extra $1,000 each month, wouldn't that drive the cost of living up? This could also cause tourists considering visiting the country to choose another location because American prices are too expensive. So how would your plan benefit our country instead of resulting in a situation like Venezuela's when they printed more money to pay off debt and then devalued their currency?
Oh, this is an awfully sophisticated question. So there are 3 sources of inflation in American life right now, and none of them is being caused by the fact that we have lots of money to spend. We're in one of them right now. What are the three? Education, healthcare, housing. That's where the vast majority of inflation is in our economy today. Do you know what's not going up in price? Clothing, media, consumer goods, most food, like most other things are staying relatively stable. And as one sign of this too, that the money supply is not it. Do you remember voting on the $4 trillion bailout of Wall Street?
Nope.
No, we didn't vote for that. They just did it. Said, we're gonna do it. But they printed $4 trillion and there was not inflation based upon money supply. The inflation that exists right now in our economy is centered on these three dysfunctional areas in markets. And each of them you can actually think, it's like, why is education going up so much? It's because college, no offense to UNH, but college has gotten 2.5 times more expensive than when I went to school. And because of a couple of reasons. One, states have cut back aid, but two, when they raise prices for individual students and families feel like they have no choice but to pay. And then when they look up and say, how the heck do I pay this bill? The government's like, it's okay, we've got loans for you. So we're up to $1.5 trillion in school loans, and that's allowed education costs to keep on rising and then we just keep on taking debt to pay for it. Healthcare, it's a slightly different story where you have opaque pricing, insurance intermediaries, but if you notice, how many of you have paid for health insurance over the past number of years? You notice how the prices only go in one direction? Do you ever remember health insurance company being like, hey, great news, prices went down this year? It's never happened in the human experience because they just keep, that's their business model, just keep ratcheting it up. And then housing has a similar dynamic because people feel like they have to live in certain areas and there are local housing regs and zoning regs. So this is a very long-winded way of saying that money supply is not causing inflation in our economy. And I do want to walk you through one hypothetical. What is your favorite place to eat locally here? Young's. All right, so what's the average dinner at Young's restaurant? Breakfast. Or so how much does it cost? All right, $10. So just play this out with me. I'm president. You get $1,000 a month. You're excited. You decide to go to Young's to celebrate, and then breakfast is $16. How do you react? You'd be like, wait, this was $10 last week. Why did it become $16? And then what might you do?
Go somewhere else.
Maybe you go someplace else, or maybe you're like, I can cook my own breakfast, or whatever it is. You don't become cost insensitive because I gave you $1,000 a month. You still like values, you like bargains, and all it takes is one restaurant to not gouge you to keep the other restaurants from gouging you too. And then the restaurant that doesn't gouge you, you know what happens? They become busy. Actually, all of the restaurants will become busier because if you have an extra $1,000 a month, then you're more likely to eat out a couple times a week. And then some of those restaurants hire servers. The businesses actually grow because you have a little bit more money to spend. But if they stick it to you too hard, you still just vote with your feet because there's still competition and price sensitivity in just about every market that is not housing, education, or healthcare. So what you need distinct plans to try and address healthcare inflation, which I have, and education inflation, which I have, and housing inflation is in some ways the trickiest because a lot of that stuff is local. It's not that they're local zoning regs. But I will suggest to you all who are tenants, if you have $1,000 a month that's portable, you actually become much harder to exploit. Because if I'm a landlord and I try and stick it to you and you're like, wait a minute, like this apartment was not that price last year, and so let me look around, see if there are better bargains to be had. And if it got very extreme, then you and 3 other people who are also getting $1,000 a month would be like, let's just buy that house, rent it, start fixing it up. You become much more mobile and dynamic and harder to exploit. That was a great question, though.
Hi. What do you think about drug addicts going to prison?
I think you're primarily talking about opiates, I'm guessing. So I'm going to say first, I would legalize marijuana nationwide and then pardon everyone who's in jail for nonviolent marijuana. It makes no sense that people have people in jail for something that's legal in parts of the country. I would high-five them all on the way to jail. That'd become very popular that day. And they'd be like, wow, things have changed since I went in. So that's marijuana. But that to me is like is low-hanging fruit. The real issue is the opiate epidemic, the heroin and fentanyl. And I know New Hampshire has been suffering through this for years, and that many of you have been personally affected and touched by this. And I'm angry on your behalf because this is a disease of capitalism. There's a company, Purdue Pharma, that dispensed millions of OxyContin prescriptions. They were fined $600 million for fraudulent practices, but they made $30 billion. $600 million is a 2% fine on $30 billion. Think about that. It killed thousands of Americans. There was one point there were more Oxy prescriptions in the state of Ohio than there are people in the state of Ohio. I mean, can you look at that and say that's responsible? So that's a disease of capitalism. The Sacklers decided to profit to the tune of billions in blood money, and the government was just there watching it happen. This is government negligence at the highest possible level. And so if the government was delinquent in having this plague spread throughout our communities, then the government has to come forward and say, look, we screwed up on an epic scale, and we need to provide proper resources so that people can recover from addiction, with the full knowledge that this is not a dollar problem, this is a human problem. If someone's addicted, it is very hard for them to recover. So then, as a society, you have to look at it and say, well, what's the best way we can help people recover? And one of the best ways we can help people recover is to decriminalize opiates for personal use, have safe consumption sites, and not act like these are individual failings. This is a systematic failing. And so we need to let addicts know that if we catch you with drugs, you're not going to jail. You're going straight to counseling and treatment. I spoke to EMTs here in New Hampshire who tell me they save an addict one day and then they save the same person like the next week because they're going back and they're still addicted. And that's a cycle that we have to help them break. And right now, the ultra punitive system that we have is not helping them do that as much as they could. When other countries have decriminalized opiates for personal use, they saw sharp reductions of both overdoses and substance abuse. And it's time for the US to do the same thing.
Rising expectations among all of us are killing us. So there's, talk about that complexity. Kids living in 20-story dorms that look like hotels. Medical care, we expect way too much. Atlanta got a great article about how lousy patients Americans are as far as patients as their doctors. You know, it's a pretty hopeless situation. Do you have any other current talks about how we deal with this problem at the bottom? Us?
Wow, that's I've never heard this question before, though I kind of love it. So the question that he was saying that one of the things that's fueling our problems is lofty expectations on the part of American citizens and consumers when we interact with our healthcare system or education system. I'm sorry?
Everyone in the world has these expectations.
A lot of citizens of other countries are now joining us in the world of high expectations, and it's one reason why climate change in particular is going to be such a problem, because if you have rising living standards, you have rising energy consumption, you have hundreds of millions of people joining the middle class at a time when the earth is just starting to warm in an accelerated manner. I agree with you that we have to re-examine a lot of our priorities, and that we can't have this grow, grow, grow mentality all the time. It's one of the reasons, though, why if you change the measurements, then you can grow in really responsible, sustainable ways. Right now, the problem is our growth is in a linear fashion, and we need to make it more three-dimensional. So what do I mean by that? Particularly in terms of environmental impact, first, environmental sustainability should be baked into our economic measurements. Now, there are different ways to do that. Number one is you have to price carbon emissions so that if I pollute, then I pay extra, and then I have the incentives. That's one of the big problems. We have to internalize the externalities. This will make us a little bit more responsible. And then if you grow, 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 then you're hopefully growing in a way that's beneficial. For example, in our case, trying to reduce our carbon footprint in various ways, not just by doing less of the bad, but doing more of the good. planting trees and reforesting vast tracts of land, trying to reseed the ocean. Like, here are ways we can grow in a way that's actually positive and productive and responsible. In terms of social attitude, that's a little deeper, and that's something that I would love to dig into more, because I do think that there's certainly a crisis of anxiety and depression among young people that I think is tied to a certain degree of the expectations you're describing. And there are things that we can do. One is we need to have a giant mental health initiative. My brother's a psychologist, and so I know we can do much, much more. And I know that many communities are under-resourced, and treatment is still stigmatized. So that's something I would love to work on as a country. One of the things I'll do immediately is have a psychologist in the White House. That would help destigmatize things. And I thought that was a good idea even before the Trump administration.
The way back.
Hello, I'm 17. I'm from Exeter, New Hampshire, so I go to the public school that was in the same area that you went to private school.
Where are you?
I'm right here.
Thank you, sorry.
How would you consider your national interest to be? Would you consider everything to be more like national based, or would you try to focus internationally and like look at things like going on in Iran, with Yemen, and all the civil wars that are going on right now, or would you try to fix things internally first?
I think that what's happening abroad and what's happening at home are very much tied together. And that if you're not doing well at home, then you can't really project a consistent and reliable foreign policy abroad. So to me, the chain of events was we started to fall apart at home, we voted in Donald Trump, and now we're a mess abroad. Very much tied. So job one to me is to try and restore our sense of integrity at home, and then make us more reliable and able to project a sustained foreign policy that people can trust, that people aren't like, the US is here today, gone tomorrow, but that the US said we're gonna do something 10 years ago, that means it's good today, that means it's good 10 years from now. I do think though, it needs to start at home. There are many ways in which the US benefits from the global world order that we helped establish, and it's much easier to maintain a set of institutions and structures than it is to rebuild them. So we can't let them fall into disrepair. We need to rebuild our alliances and partnerships abroad. We have to let foreign leaders know that, look, if we committed to something, we're good for it. Not dropping out of the Paris Accords or like some of these other stupid things that we've been doing. But nothing matters if we are not whole at home.
We have time for one more, so we can really grab someone from the back over there.
Okay. Hi, so I had just a follow-up question actually from the first question up front, was about housing.
Yes.
And so in particular, and this is really important for like millennials and Gen Zs, but the housing vacancy rate in New Hampshire is 1%. So this idea of the housing rates just increasing overnight, they are increasing overnight.
Yeah.
And the cost of home ownership right now, 20 years ago was, twice our annual income, the median income, now it's over 4 times that.
Yeah.
And more millennials are not even able to access this. And this is critical because it's a foundational asset that contributes to our lifelong well-being.
Yes.
So I'm curious about your housing policies.
It's a central issue, not just here in New Hampshire, but in many other communities. And a lot of the issues are tied together, where if you have, let's say, a millennial who graduates from college with tens of thousands in school loans, then it's harder for them to invest and buy a home. Like, you wind up living in your parents' basement, paying off the loans. So the first thing we have to do is forgive a lot of the student loan debt, which I would do, because if you have to choose between the financial interests of various creditors or our young people starting lives, starting families, buying homes, starting businesses, and moving forward, it's a very easy choice. We've bailed out the banks, we've bailed out the big companies, and at this point we're up to $1.5 trillion in student loan debt that much of it was immorally generated. So that to me is going to be a starting point. The housing issues here in New Hampshire and many other parts of the country, a lot of it revolves around what the development incentives are. So one of the reasons why you have a shortage of housing stock is that the incentives to create, let's say, affordable housing units are low. And then, even though a lot of people agree in principle with affordable housing, if someone comes to you and says, hey, how would you like us to develop some affordable housing units right down the street from you, what do you say? Not in my backyard, because you're afraid it's going to reduce your property values, and that's true for the next town over. And so, like, this is like a hot potato that gets passed around that no one wants in their own backyard. So these are the economic and social incentives that we all have individually. And so if you want to solve the housing problems, you have to create better incentives for both the individual developers, but also for the people who are writing the zoning laws in your towns. And you talk about the housing prices going up. I talked to people in rural New Hampshire, and they're like a double whammy, because if your population starts to shrink, then your property taxes for the schools go up. And then you have a hard time selling your home, because like who wants to buy a home, and then they feel stuck. So there are a bunch of interrelated problems, but one of the things I'm confident about is that putting more liquidity into our hands will actually help create some of the incentives that we need. Because if I'm a developer and I see New Hampshire, it's like you all have some more money to spend, and young people want to buy homes and start moving out of their parents' homes, then you'll start to see us build that kind of housing stock, hopefully, over time.
I think we are at time.
Oh no! Oh no, New Hampshire!
There's an opportunity for students to continue the conversation in 302 over in the MUB. Mr. Yang, thank you so much for coming to the University of New Hampshire.
Thank you, New Hampshire! Let's get together in 2020! Let's do it! Thank you.
So what's up, Yang Gang? Another smashing performance by Andrew Yang. We appreciate y'all tuning into the live feed. Y'all, I was seeing the donations come in. I wanted to shout y'all out, but I couldn't. We appreciate the dollars that y'all spent. Thank you, South Korea, Yang Gang, worldwide Yang Gang. We appreciate y'all voting with your dollars, because y'all can still, you may not be able to vote for Andrew Yang, you may not be able to donate to the campaign, but you can donate for content creation for channels like this. And we appreciate it very much. Y'all, we got another live stream coming for you today. We're bringing it hot and heavy, Yang Gang. So we are going to be back on at about 6 o'clock, something like that, 6:30. We'll probably get it up a little bit early so that we can get everything set up and ready for y'all. We love you, Yang Gang. Appreciate you. Yang Gang out. Hey, y'all want to watch this? I'll keep it up. We'll keep this going. It's up to y'all. If y'all want to watch it, we'll keep talking. Yes, we would love to get out to the LA rally, y'all. That would be spectacular. We've never been to LA. We've been to the West Coast, but we've never been to LA. And that would sure, we'll bring it to you live. We'll team up with PSP out there. What y'all think about that? We love us some PSP. Hey, can y'all hear this? Should we get some Yang music playing up in here? Let's see if we get this one. Interview the crowd. Well, we sure will. We will sure interview the crowd. But we don't know if we'll do that on the live stream. Haha, we gotta have something to put out on videos. We appreciate y'all watching. For sure, Yang Gang. I see we've dropped off considerably. Listen, y'all, we're gonna get this live feedback up at 6 o'clock or 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. And we want to make sure to get this out. That was the most people we've had on the live stream, I believe, or we got close anyway. So we appreciate it. Thank you for the donations. And if y'all got some, save them for the next live stream, because we're going to end this one, y'all.